Just over 80 years ago, Friedrich Hayek published one of the most important books of the 20th century, The Road to Serfdom. The book was dedicated to, quote, the socialists of all parties, and it was a genuine attempt to warn them that the experiment with big government would end in tragedy. His point was not simply that market capitalism worked better than central planning, but more pointedly, he claimed that the overly big government was incompatible with genuine democracy and would tend towards tyranny. Let me explain. The economy is an impossibly complex network of millions of independent actors making dozens of decisions a day based on imperfect and constantly changing information. Any economic system will need to solve a diabolically large coordination problem. One method for coordination, the natural method, is for the price mechanism that operates through market competition. This approach will be imperfect because people are imperfect, but it does at least provide a way to quickly coordinate millions of strangers with different motivations and knowledge. An upside of the price mechanism formula is that mistakes are quickly corrected. In the early part of the 20th century, we saw the rise of an alternative view. A growing number of intellectuals and statesmen were convinced that the chaotic and uncoordinated market economy should be replaced by an orderly and centrally planned economy, socialism. The government would be able to intelligently design a more efficient system where resources could be redirected towards their best use. At least that's the plan. As Hayek eloquently explained, attempts at central planning will inevitably run into an obvious speed bump. Planning a large economy requires many quick and decisive decisions made by knowledgeable, motivated and well-meaning people with access to the right information. That is almost always the opposite of how democratic decisions are made. The wheels of genuine democracy turn slowly as a wide range of people are consulted, convinced, and then converge on a decision. Each of those decisions will involve compromise and caveats, and some of those decisions will later be reversed. Then reintroduced, then paused, then changed multiple times. Effective central planning will be constantly frustrated by the delays and compromise of genuine democracy. One or the other will have to give way. To achieve the desired central planning, the expert class inevitably conclude that they need to bypass some democratic checks and balances for the greater good. The growing demand to fix the never-ending coordination problems and just get things done will eventually trump the need for democratic input and power will be centralised. Many countries have already taken this road to serfdom. Most socialist revolutions started with an honest intention of being democratic, but none were sustained. Likewise, the National Socialist experiments of the 1930s in Europe quickly prioritised getting things done over democratic niceties. Even the Spanish anarcho-communists quickly descended into authoritarian rule. Hayek warns that no country is immune from this logic. As the government's role gets larger, political decisions get more complicated and detailed, and politicians become more reliant on their army of bureaucratic experts to set and manage the policy agenda. We are told to trust the experts, and bureaucrats are given more independence to avoid political interference. We are on the slow road to serfdom, but the good news is that there is a fork in the road. The coming years will see a growing frustration at the government's inability to meet expectations. Both sides overpromise and underdeliver, leaving disillusioned voters looking for alternatives who can break through the political molasses and just get things done. That situation is a perfect recipe for sweet-talking authoritarians on the left or the right to take us down the wrong path, but there is an alternative. Hayek wrote his book not only as a warning, but as a call to action. We don't need to choose between political authoritarianism and who can get things done. We can reject big government, rediscover the spontaneous order of market capitalism, and start to get things done ourselves. While she was opposition leader in the 1970s, Margaret Thatcher took a copy of one of Hayek's book, and she told her shadow cabinet, "This is what we believe." She won office and was so successful that Bob Hawke in this country largely mimicked Thatcher's policy, and like Thatcher, had an extended term in high office. Madam Acting President, tomorrow I'll be distributing a copy of Hayek's most popular work, The Road to Serfdom. I'm keen to engage with my parliamentary colleagues as to what is the optimal size of government, but Hayek warned us big government will eventually become a decision between left-wing authoritarianism or right-wing authoritarianism, and libertarianism is the only way. Thank you.